Okay, everyone, we're going to get started here in just a moment. Just a small technical glitch we're working through, so I appreciate your indulgence. I think we're about ready to get started. If you're on the website, you should see a screen right now, and we're going to get going on this. And we're going to talk about 9 ways to fall in love with your job. I'm Richard Yadon. I'm the principal here at the MMS Group, and we help people find great jobs, but we also help people who are trying to really advance their career, maybe not even looking for a job. So this is probably directed to someone like that that might be in our audience today. We're going to try to cover a few things in this 30 minutes that we have here, in addition to taking some of your questions. First of all, this is a great presentation for you to watch if you feel like you are stuck in a rut at work. If your job just doesn't seem to be getting anywhere, you've kind of lost your enthusiasm that you may have had initially for your job, whatever it might be, you just don't feel like you're getting in the right groove. It's also great for someone who's maybe just not sure about a job change. Maybe you're not just completely dissatisfied with your job and thinking about a change, but just not sure if that's the right direction to go. You could be someone who is leaving a job. Maybe that's your situation. If that's the case, then certainly you want to go through this, or you might be just frankly miserable in the job that you have. So it's hard to say. I'm getting word here we have to make just one quick change. Give me just 1 second. Let's see if we can get this done. I apologize. Okay, we're going to get rolling here. So let's start with the first way, first thing you can do to fall in love with your job, and that is really begin to communicate with your colleagues. Now, there are people very important to you in your job that have a lot to say about how well you might do in your job. You want to let your boss know. First of all, that's probably the #1 colleague that you want to communicate. Let your boss know about your achievements and the problems that you're having. Now, what you don't want to do here is complain to your boss, and you don't want to show any kind of indignation. You let your team spirit really be the guiding point in this. Point out things that might be hindering, anything that's kind of contributing to your dissatisfaction in the job. Make sure, though, if you're going to come to your boss with some issues, that you that you have a solution that you can bring. Make it something for yourself. Make something that you could do the solution. Maybe take up a project that you like the most. So really try to communicate with your team about those kinds of things, or especially with your boss. Second way that you can fall in love with your job is be sure you devote more time to something that you're really good at doing. Everybody has parts of their job that they really enjoy. Everybody has parts of their job that they're not necessarily thrilled about. But you can do something, find the things in your job that you're really excited about, and try to devote more time to doing those. Arrange your schedule maybe in a way where you can really focus and spend time on the things that interest you most in the job that you have. All right, number 3. Number 3 is improve tense relationships. All of us have probably worked with a group of people where there are 1 or 2 people that seem to really push the envelope in relationship fellowship. And we have to work with those people. Sometimes it's just a personality trait, not that they're doing anything wrong. It just might be difficult to get along with. Or perhaps you've had a run-in with somebody over an issue at work. If you can take the time to improve those relationships, you might see a significant improvement with how well you really like the job that you're in. You know, all people are all the people we work with are very different. We'll tend to dislike some, and we'll really get along great with others. And that's why conflicts are going to be inevitable. You have a personality that maybe doesn't sit well with some other people. So instead of swelling up in a quarrel, ask the person that maybe you have a tense relationship, what can I do for you? Is there anything I can help you with? I mean, it really helps to reduce tension. And in a while, you'll find that you're able to build up normal relationship with even some of the hottest tempered people in the office. Number 4, ask for feedback. Ask your boss for feedback. We talked a little bit about that in number 1, but ask your coworkers for it as well. Things like, how am I getting on with the job? How did you think I did with that presentation? Whatever it might be. Let them know that you're looking for their answers so that you can improve yourself. And not that you just want to hear a bunch of empty compliments from coworkers or needless pats on the back. You're actually looking for an opportunity to improve yourself. And that's why you're asking for feedback. What you might find in some of the feedback is that there are things that you might be doing and you're totally unaware of that are creating a negative impact in your job. That might be the thing that's causing your dissatisfaction. There could be something that you're unaware of and a skill deficiency that's subconsciously creating dissatisfaction. So ask for feedback from your coworkers, and you might have to dig a little bit here. People aren't, depends on your relationship, but people aren't going to readily jump out and give you critical feedback without some relationship and without some trust, because they don't want you to take it the wrong way, and they don't want you to come back on them with defensive statements. And that's the other thing. If someone's going to give you feedback and it's somebody you trust, you think they are trying to be sincere and honest with them, don't be defensive about the feedback. Let them put it out for you. Let them give it to you so that they understand, or so that you understand exactly what they're talking about. And they may be completely off base. They may be talking about something that you have no sense or perspective on, but take it anyway. Let it sit for a day or two before you come back to it. Every one of us has blind spots, and asking people to help you find those blind spots could go a long way in improving your performance on the job. And certainly if we're performing better and we're getting attention that's positive, we're going to feel a lot better about the job that we're in. All right, number 5 is an important one. This is one that I've adopted myself over the years and have found it makes the day go really smooth. And that is to start out your day with your most difficult task, or the most difficult part of your work. If there's 1 or 2 things in your job that are just really difficult, you don't like to do them, you dread when they're coming about, or whatever it might be, start and do those first. Do the most unbearable part of your job before you go to lunch. Because if you put it off, it's not going to disappear. It's going to hang over your head the entire day. And after lunch, it's even going to get harder for yourself to do that. And if you put it on your schedule, then what you have is you have the rest of the day to look forward to, because you've got the onerous thing out of the way. And now you've got the rest of the day to maybe focus on what we talked about in number 2, doing something that you really are good at, that you really enjoy doing. And it makes the day go by nicely. It also lets you find more fulfillment and enjoyment in the job you have. So number 5, start with the most difficult task first. Number 6, this might surprise you. Oops, sorry, go back. Or were you out of sequence here? All right, we're going to go to number 7. Number 7, team up. All right. If you can find a way to have fewer responsibilities, I'm not saying, put your work onto anybody else, but if you can find a way to have fewer responsibilities and have a team that can help you do some of the other things, then you're going to be able to handle the work process with a lot more enjoyment, a lot more fulfillment. If you're not in a team environment, doesn't mean you can't be a part of a team. You can create a team. You can have a informal team. Perhaps you approach several coworkers and say, hey, we're all trying to get the same thing done. I noticed you, Bob, are really good at this part of the job. You, Jane, are really good at this other part of the job. I like doing this. I'm really good at this. What if we shifted things around and we each focused on the parts that we're really good at doing? That might be a way to approach. They might have some management approval to get that done, but start thinking about that. You're never going to find out unless you think about it. So team up with other people. It's a good way to handle the working process. You should learn from it. It's a very useful skill. Teamwork is going to be important throughout your career. So it will also raise your profile among your superiors because you're being proactive in trying to set this up. They may say no. They may say, no, we can't do a team environment here, but they're going to recognize you for even suggesting it. All right, number 8, and we'll come back to number 6. I don't know why the slide didn't show up, but we'll come back to it. Number 8, and I'm going to hit this one pretty hard. You have to allocate enough time for your spiritual and physical health. This doesn't have to be, outlandish or onerous, but I honestly don't think you're going to function and enjoy your job well if you're not taking care of these 2 areas. In fact, these 2 areas probably underlie a lot of job frustration, a lot of job dissatisfaction. You want to allocate enough time for these. I mean, stick to the basic rules, having a good diet, working out, getting enough sleep. I mean, sometimes it's these very simple things that give you a fresh look at your job. But diet, exercise, good, healthy sleep. I mean, you've heard this over and over and over. So many people don't do it and they suffer for it. You don't have to. Get a program of physical health and spiritual health. Certainly not going to try to push my beliefs of faith on anyone in this presentation, other than to say it's important for you to have a spiritual life. It is important for your job. It's important for you personally. It's important for your family. And I truly believe, because I have seen this over and over, so many people are dissatisfied in their job. So many people hate the job they do because it is so disconnected with their spiritual life. So think about that in terms of your situation and get busy in allocating the time to have a spiritual and physical health. Number 9, hey, just live. I've got a picture here of a guitar player because a big part of my life is music. A big part of my life is playing guitar. I play and sing in a band. So you can't be enjoying your job. Well, let me back up. Most people's job is not their life. Most people are not in a situation where they are working at a job that changes the world. It might change the world for some people around them, but most of us are not in a situation where our job has to be all-consuming. I would guess that if you're on this presentation, that is not, your job is not your life. It may take up a lot of your life, but it's not how you want to spend your life. So, number 9 of the 9 ways to fall in love with your job is you have to have a life outside of it. Find the things that you really enjoy to do. Find the things that are interesting to you, that are not a part of your life, hobbies or organizations, whatever they are, and make time for those. Don't let your whole life revolve around your job. I'm going to come back to number 6 because for some reason the slide was out of order for that. Number 6 was to have fun. You know, your job might be no fun, but you don't repeat it to yourself all the time. Don't let your job dictate the vitality of life that you bring into the organization. You know, it can be nothing more than a good pair of jokes during the day. Find a way to make a game out of parts of your work. Interact with coworkers. Go to your superior and say you'd like to, you know, plan a lunch and bring in a speaker at lunch or something that does something interesting or something fun. I've been in organizations where we've had a magician come to lunch to talk to us about leadership, but use magic. If there's a way you can, try to make your job fun. All right, so let me briefly recap this. All right, 9 ways to fall in love with your job. Number 1 was to communicate with your colleagues. Number 2 was to devote more time to something you're good at doing. Number 3, improve tense relationships. Number 4, ask for feedback. Number 5, schedule the most difficult parts of your job early in the day. Number 6, we just talked about, have fun. Number 7, you can do more if you have fewer responsibilities, so team up with other people. Number 8 was allocating enough time for your spiritual and physical health. The number 9 was to get a life outside of work. So now what? So here's 9 ideas that you can use to help put some life back into your job, to put some fun back into your job, to help you really love the work that you're doing. What do you do now? Well, what you don't do is try to do all 9 of these at one time. Think about this for a day or so, and then think about what are 1, maybe 2 things you could do in the next 30 days to put into play for you to find more life in your job, for you to really fall in love with what you're doing in your job. So think about that, then just pick 1 or 2, try to get it done in the next 30 days. It might work, it might not. If it doesn't, move on to the next one. All right? So I want to tell you real quickly, I am putting together a new program called Pursue Your Passion. It's a brand new program, and I want to, and I'm still working on the refinement of it, but we've got the first draft together. It's really about how to find your passion, how to make a career out of doing the things that you love. I want to give out some complimentary first drafts of this new program, and it's going to be available to you. Now, how do you get the first draft? Well, all I need you to do is put a comment below. Right below this presentation, put in a comment, and I want to comment about how you have found passion in your job, either the one you're in now or one that you were in before, whatever it might be. And I'm going to pick the 5 best, and I'm going to send those people a complimentary first draft of this new program, Pursue Your Passion. There's no further obligation, there's no fee for it for you, but put your comments in. I'm going to pick 5 of the best, and I'm going to send those people this first draft. All right, so let's get into a little bit of question and answer. Now you can send me your questions a couple of ways. One, if you're here with me on Google Plus, we have a chat box up and ready. You can certainly do that. We want to hear from you. If you want to send us a chat in the box there, just put your question in. We can take those there. Also, if you're on Twitter, just tweet the question and use the hashtag 9JobLove. You'll see that at the top of this presentation there on the website. So go ahead and send those in. I see we got a few already that have shown up. Let me go to this first one here. The question is, what do I do if there are no other jobs for me to go to? Well, I don't know how. I understand that that's your question, and maybe that is the reality from your perspective right now. There's always another job to go to, but let me, what I'm thinking is that you feel like you're stuck where you are and don't have any options. Well, first of all, try a number of these ideas. Right? Don't give up just yet. Try over the next 60 days, a few of these ideas and see if it has any impact for you in your job situation. If there truly is no job to go to in the field that you're doing right now, then you may have to change careers. You may have to go do something else. There's no magic bullet that's going to change the attitude and the culture of your company. If it's such that it just makes you absolutely miserable, you either have to make the choice to stick it out, or you're gonna have to make a choice to make a radical change in your life. But before you do something like that, I mean, that is a tough thing to do. Take some time and use some of these suggestions to see if that doesn't make a difference. All right. So if you've got any more questions, looking down in the chat box. Okay. Okay, here's one. I'm not sure. The question is, I'm not sure what the right job is for me. I don't like where I am, but I don't want to go to another place and be in the same situation. Great question. I think a lot of people struggle with this. In fact, there's a great book called I Could Do Anything If I Just Knew What It Was. But here's a couple of things you might think, if that's your situation, here's a couple of things you might think about doing. All of us have some talent. All of us have developed skills from the time we started going to school to all the way through our working life. And I believe that all of us have some God-given gifts as well. You can discover what those things are, and you can find a way to align them with a specific career or a specific job. Again, that's what this program is about, pursue your passion. So if you're in that situation, leave a comment below, and I'll be happy to send you a complimentary first draft of this program. And maybe that will help you out. We certainly want to get your feedback from this draft as well. We have one question coming in here. Another one, this is on Twitter. It says, I think I'm in the right career field, but I think I'm in the wrong company. Well, not quite a question, more of a statement, but I understand where you're coming from. Again, let me say, if you feel like you're in the right career field, but you're not in the right place, the right company, there's two things that you can do. You either have, if you're in that situation, you either have to change your environment or you have to change your attitude. For most people, it's a lot easier to change their attitude than it is their environment in a work situation. So I would carefully analyze what those options are for you. Now, doing some of the things we've talked about here in this presentation is really a change of attitude in many of them. You might try those first, but if you don't see that that's going to work for you, then you probably are going to need to begin a search for a new company. And I hear this question all the time, but there are no other companies in my area that do what I do. That's not anything you can change. That's the reality of where you are. So that means either you're going to have to change careers into a company that is in your area, or you're going to have to move out of your area to find a company that does what you want it to do. That's the reality of it all. All right, one quick check. Doesn't seem like there's any more questions. We're coming up on our time. Hey, I appreciate everyone who has joined me here. I told you I'm going to keep this to 30 minutes. We've got 4 minutes left, so if you have a question while I'm wrapping up here, please feel free to jump in. I appreciate your time. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to go through this. I hope these suggestions were helpful. Please leave the comments below. I want to hear from you about, if you don't have a comment about your passion, that's fine. You can still leave a comment about the presentation or a situation you're in. I read all the comments, be happy to get back and make a response to them as well. So thanks again for your time today. Hope this was helpful, and let me hear from you.